And what a crazy week it has been for Blue Jackets fans. Amazing highs, heartbreaking lows, all in the span of 24 hours leading up to today's huge game at Nationwide. Fox Sports Ohio and 610 WTVN analyst Dave Maetzold returns this week to talk some hockey. But first of all, we saw the highlights of the basketball there. You know, Wisconsin within a hair.
Yeah.
Jim
Jackson's son missed that shot with time expiring that would have done it. By the way, kudos to Maria Durant for doing sports.
Hey.
I know Maria when she was just a youngster doing news in West Virginia. And let me tell you, that was awesome, Maria. Well done.
I was only 12 at the time.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think that's right. I think 14 maybe.
So let's start with the highs of the Blue Jackets week. A huge win in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and they hadn't won there before, and it was the matchup of two guys who were facing their old team. Sergei Bobrovsky back in Philly to face his old team. Steve Mason, the old Blue Jackets goalie, facing his old team. James Wisniewski got a goal to get it started on the power play, and then Brandon Dubinsky's right foot put one in as well. That made it 2-0. The best part about that win, Phil, I mean, it was very important in the Metro Division standings. Let's not set that to the side, but to hear the Philadelphia fans boo their own team, that's what you want to do. Doobie had the big goal in that one, and it was a real big lift for this team because a lot of people kind of wrote that game off. You know, you look down the schedule, everybody does it, no matter what the sport. Yeah, you go down the schedule and you're like, well, that might be a loss, this is going to be a win, whatever. I don't know if anybody figured the Blue Jackets were going to win in Philadelphia, but they had belief in themselves and they got it done.
We come back, all that momentum, Nationwide Arena, crazy atmosphere Friday night. How was that?
Another great Friday night at Nationwide Arena, which is the really great part about it. I mean, the place was filled, a lot of Blackhawks fans there, and they're going toe-to-toe with the defending Stanley Cup champions. I mean, this was a great battle, but right here at the end of the game, this call put the face-off in the Blackhawks' offensive zone. And with just about 8 seconds to go. So then with 3 seconds to go, mad scrum in front of, I can't even watch it, Phil. Turn it off, I can't watch it. The Blue Jackets lose the game, lose a vital point, which they would have gotten for going into overtime there. I got over that one this morning, finally. It helped that last night both Detroit and Toronto lost.
Okay.
So the Blue Jackets right now maintaining that number 2 wild card position, which is very important. They're in the playoffs if they were to start today, which of course they don't.
Another big game. It's a big day also at Nationwide Arena. Fan Appreciation Day?
Yep, and it's really one of the neat things that they do every year. This year it'll be more fun because the team is really in the hunt for the playoffs. A lot of giveaways, a lot of fun stuff on ice, and it'll just be a great atmosphere. Plus, the Islanders are in town. Let's back up a week. Oh, God, that was brutal when they were on Long Island and lost that game there. So there's a lot of incentive.
It's a team they should beat.
It's a team they should beat, well below them in the standings. They should beat the Islanders. There should be enough anger and emotion after the way they lost to Chicago. They lost to the New York Islanders. They lost a game that they had in hand against Colorado. Listen, put me out there. I'll go play.
So we got 5 games left, and two at home, 3 on the road. We got one last, the home finale is Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday against the Phoenix Coyotes, another team that's really battling in the West and hopes to be there in the postseason. Antoine Vermette returns, a former Blue Jacket, one of the great Blue Jackets in terms of just being a great guy. He comes back in on Tuesday night. But, you know, all friendships aside in that one, they got to get the 2 points there. And then back to Dallas for a back-to-back, a game that they'll have a lead in because that's the game that was suspended with the Rich Peverly situation. Dallas, day off. Tampa, tough team. Florida, a team they should beat on Saturday to end it. We'll know in a week, Phil.
I love it. We'll have you back next week. We'll talk about it. Tell me about you're going to be on the air later on this morning?
Later on this morning. Now, I'm taking the first hour off because it's morning skate time down at Blue Jackets land. So I got to go down there and then race back to 610 WTVN. We'll talk about this whole playoff scenario, talk about what could happen in the next week or two. It's going to be an interesting week. We'll know. If I come back in here next Sunday morning and I'm staggering a little bit, that means the flight back from Florida was all good.
All right.
If I come in and I'm crying or don't show up, well, you know what happened there.
All right. Dave Maetzold, I love your passion. We appreciate it. Good Day Columbus continues after the break.